Parenting is draining. It's 24/7, no breaks, no time off, just endless duties and demands. And what's the first thing we let go of? Ourselves. But here's the truth. We can't pour from an empty cup. The best way to care for our children is to care for ourselves. Self-care isn't selfish. It's an essential part of good parenting. It's what helps us show up calm, patient, and present, the kind of parents our kids actually need. In this 3-part self-care series, I'll share 3 core habits that help parents refill their tank. And in this first video, we're starting with the one that changes everything, sleep. I'll share what science says and what I've learned the hard way. Because once you see how powerful sleep really is, you'll never think about it the same way again. When we think of self-care, what comes to mind? Bubble bath, yoga, eating healthy, maybe a weekend getaway, a little shopping, or a fun night out with friends. But here's the truth. None of that really works if you're not getting enough sleep. Sleep isn't just part of self-care. It's the foundation of every other form of self-care. Without enough sleep, every other act of self-care loses its power, no matter how healthy or mindful it seems. As parents, we often cut corners on sleep. We stay up late to finish chores, catch up on work, or just enjoy a little quiet me time. We tell ourselves that coffee and weekend sleep-ins will make up for the lost sleep. I used to do the same thing until I read this life-changing book called Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker, who is one of the world's leading sleep scientists and a professor of neuroscience. By the way, even Bill Gates recommends it. This book is full of fascinating, eye-opening research. Let me share some key insights from this book that will change the way you think about sleep forever. Dr. Walker says it's plain and simple. When sleep becomes short, our brain and every major organ, system, and tissue in the body suffers. So how much sleep do we actually need? According to Dr. Walker, the answer is clear. The average adult needs about 8 hours of sleep each night. Humans need more than 7 hours of sleep each night to maintain proper brain function. Once the brain has been awake for about 16 hours, it starts to fail. And here's the shocking part. After just 10 days of getting only 7 hours of sleep a night, your brain functions as poorly as if you'd stayed awake for a full 24 hours straight. As parents, we've all been there, rushing out the door only to realize we left the laptop at home, missing a school deadline, or stared blankly at our computer screen rereading the same sentence over and over and still can't absorb a word. That's what sleep loss does to our brains. According to Dr. Walker, even the smallest dose of sleep deprivation can wreck your concentration. You start to zone out, slow down, make mistakes, and find it harder to focus. It doesn't just hurt your productivity at work. It can be downright dangerous. Drowsy driving causes more car accidents than alcohol and drugs combined. When it comes to memory, sleep is a powerhouse. Before learning, sleep primes your brain to absorb new information. After learning, it locks in those memories and prevents forgetting. That's why people who don't get enough sleep are often forgetful. And as parents, we all know the feeling, that moment when you snap at your kids or your spouse and immediately regret it. One big reason, lack of sleep, makes us emotionally irrational. When you are short on sleep, your brain's emotion center, the amygdala, becomes hyperactive, triggering intense feelings like anger, frustration, and stress. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic, reasoning, and self-control, weakens, losing its ability to keep those emotions in check. So you end up with too much emotional gas pedal and not enough rational brake. That's why you might find yourself snapping at your kids over something small or losing patience with your spouse for no real reason. It's not that you are a bad parent or partner. It's just that your brain can't regulate your emotions properly when it's running on too little sleep. Sleep loss has been also linked to serious mental health issues like anxiety and depression. As American entrepreneur E. Joseph Kosman once said, the best bridge between despair and hope is a good night's sleep. And it's not just your brain that suffers, your whole body takes a hit. As Dr. Walker puts it, no aspect of your health can retreat at the sign of sleep loss and escape unharmed. Like water from a burst pipe in your house, the effects of sleep deprivation will seep into every nook and cranny of biology, down into your cells, even altering your most fundamental self, your DNA. Chronic sleep loss has been linked to cancer, diabetes, heart disease, infertility, weight gain, and a weakened immune system. Here's the really scary part. When you are running short on sleep, your brain can't actually tell how sleep deprived it is. It's like being drunk and still believing you are fine to drive. So you push through the day thinking, I'm doing okay, when in reality, your alertness, energy, and focus are slowly draining away. Over time, months, even years, your body starts to adapt to this impaired or suboptimal state. Lower alertness, reduced energy, slower thinking, worse moods, and so on. You start to accept this new normal and never realize how far below your true mental and physical potential you are operating. Studies show that millions of people unknowingly spend years living in this suboptimal state, never realizing that chronic sleep loss is quietly undermining their health and performance. Naps or caffeine can't undo the damage. There's no drug that can replace the powerful benefits a full night of sleep gives your brain and body. Even weekend catch-up sleep is not enough to restore your brain and body to normal performance after a week of short sleeping. On the flip side, the benefits of consistently getting a full night's sleep are huge. Dr. Walker reviewed more than 17,000 scientific studies and found that getting around 8 hours of sleep a night can completely transform your life. It helps you live longer, boost memory and creativity, look more attractive, stay slim, and curb food cravings, protect you against cancer, dementia, diabetes, and heart disease, strengthen your immune system, lower anxiety and depression, and simply make you feel happier. So parents, before you trade your sleep for one more task, one more episode, or a few extra minutes on your phone, pause and remember, the best act of self-care happens at night, when you give yourself the gift of a full night's sleep. In the next video of this self-care series, I'll talk about how to actually make time for yourself during the daytime. Stay tuned.